everyone, it's Paul Bertorelli reporting for AVweb ahead of Sun and Fun 2016, where Garmin will be showing this little gadget. It's a new portable GPS navigator called the Aera 660. Now, if you're awake and taking nourishment, you probably instantly realize that these days everybody has one of these in the cockpit, either an iPad, a tablet of some kind, or even a smartphone. Now, since apps do everything that a portable navigator can, why bother with a portable in the first place? Well, Garmin figures there's still a market for a dedicated portable, so in this video we'll take a look at what they've got. Size-wise, the Aera 660 is a little larger than a typical smartphone. Here it is compared to an iPhone 6S. You can see it's a little narrower, but a ½ inch shorter. It's thicker and heavier than the iPhone, and the Aera measures 5 inches on the diagonal. As Garmin has traditionally done, the Aera is based on a terrestrial navigator platform, and even though smartphones have displaced those products too, Garmin is still developing and selling them. The Aera ships with a yoke mount with the ship's power cable, a charger, and a data cable. The typical retail price is $849. It has an optional external antenna, but you know, I haven't used one of those in this class of product for years. For typical use, I think you can get by without it.
If you use Garmin's Pilot app on a tablet or a phone, or even the GTN series navigators, you will instantly recognize the basic menu structure and functionality of the 660. It's got an icon-based operating interface with context-sensitive menus for drilling down into the navigator's various options. Like smartphones, the Aera 660 uses a capacitive rather than a resistive touchscreen. That makes for much more accurate commands, and yay, it does pinch scrolling too. Everything starts at this home screen where there are 11 principal icons, each corresponding to a function. For example, touch the map icon and you get to the main navigation screen. The context-sensitive menu part is here. Tap that and you get options on setting up the map type, decluttering, and customizing data fields. The setup button is a sort of a supplemental menu function to control things such as north up and the map arc. Other icons include one for charts, nearest airports, and fixes, and flight plan management. 3D vision is what Garmin used to call the flight panel page. It presents basic flight instruments, all GPS based, no air data here. And these can be switched from either tape displays or steam gauges. I kind of like the analog look myself. The back button takes you to the home screen from any other subpage, just as it does on the app and the GTN series. Garmin navigators have always had extensive setup and customization menus, and the Aera 660 probably takes that to a new level through the Tools button. Here you can set up the display, audio, and airspace alerts, and a bunch of other preferences. It has a nice night map mode that dims down the display when the sun goes down. Since the display is capacitive touch, features like the map pointer work really well. Just touch on a waypoint or object and the 660 gives the bearing and distance in an information tab. The screen also makes editing the flight plan graphically, what we call rubber banding, direct and quick, and precise enough to do on the fly, even in a cockpit with a little bit of turbulence. You may have noticed in the setup menu a button for sound. The Aera 660 has audio alerts for terrain and traffic, and the terrain alerts rely on the navigator's standard database and GPS altitude for traffic. And for traffic, you will need an ADS-B in source. And that's a good place to talk about the Aera 660's connectivity options. It's Bluetooth equipped, so it can pair with Garmin's GDL39 portable ADS-B receiver, and that will give you FIS-B weather and TIS-A traffic. I don't have the GDL39 here in the Cub, but the Aera 660 should perform as tablet apps do with this hardware. You can also hardwire the receiver, and it will connect to other Garmin equipment through Garmin's FlightStream system, which is an onboard data network using Bluetooth. So with everyone using tablets and phones, what's the appeal of a dedicated portable? Well, that's a good question, and I'm not sure I can answer it. I give the display higher marks than a tablet for brightness and lack of reflectivity. It's easier to read in the cockpit, and if you think a tablet is just too big for the cockpit, and I sometimes do because they can be very cumbersome, the 660 may be a good compromise. Certainly doesn't lack for functionality, and it's easy to use.
I suspect where the Aera 660 may find some traction is where the previous version did, the 500 series, and that's as a removable panel mount in experimental and light sport airplanes with limited panel real estate. It's ideal for that at a price that's not exactly cheap, but not unreasonably high either. You can get a look at the Aera 660 this week at Sun & Fun in Garmin's booth or in several vendor booths. For AVweb, I'm Paul Bertorelli reporting. See you at the show.